Hello friends, Namaskar. I am Anil Kumar Srivastav. I shall today present you the long uh, causes of the Manipur violence. Manipur violence has started on 4th May, and thereafter it sometimes uh, the violence is controlled, and sometimes the violence becomes uncontrolled, and throughout, after the gap of certain time, the problem is still uh, uh, still in the existence. The government has not been able to solve the problem so far. So government is doing all its best to control the problem, although it has controlled it. But we have to go into the details of the reasons why this problem is not being solved. Some days ago, on the 25th September, nearly 2 persons have been abducted, and 6 persons are reported missing, and thereafter some persons are arrested, and when the persons are arrested, their photos are published in the newspapers. Then the whole Imphal Valley students had started a new phase of violence, and in this violence again some persons have died. So this has again told that the situation is still not under control, and so the government has enforced the Army Force Protection Act there also, and we find that what is the cause of the root cause of this problem. The root cause of the problem is that we find that there are 3 kinds of the major communities or groups live. Those belong to one Matei, that is having more than 50% of the population, and the second one is the Naga, and the third is Kuki, and Kukis are related with the Chin also, and these Chin are residing in the border areas of Burma, and sometimes when violent attacks are made by the government forces in Burma, then these STs migrate to India. And we also know that Burma is the second largest producer of opium, and the 3 countries which are known as Golden Triangle countries are the Laos, Thailand, and Burma. So the opium is being transported in India, and it is also being produced in India, because and the Chins are coming daily, and they have the protection of the cookies. And we also find that in the cookie system there is a system that is called the whole land belongs to the head of the village, and remaining are the landless tenants, and these landless tenants sometimes go to the other places because of the certain conditions, and they start inhabiting there as a nomad were doing in the olden days. The nomad caste were wandering caste, and these were sometimes lived for some months here, and then again in the other areas. So like these cookies have the same problem. They sometimes, because land belongs to the head of the chief and head of the pradhan, head of the Gaon Panchayat, sometimes make them available the lands, that is the tenants, and tenants sometimes create problem, and they then migrate to other places, and then the other person becomes the head of the village, and he now becomes the gets the land there, and then the land is distributed by the to the other persons who are again as uh, the tenants and like the landless tillers. So this migration continues. Then some of them again migrate to other places, and they go where they go. Then again they the same thing, because they are wanderers. When there is a friction on the land, the land system or land has become the key word for the violence of the Manipur violence, because as I already know that the Kukis, who are very closely related to the Chin, and Chin belongs to the Burma, and these Chin, when come to India with the Kukis, their population is also growing, and another problem is that the land system, they migrate to other places, and the other places are also inhabited by them, and where some different modern system, some people are living as a permanent settlement, they do not migrate. Then these costs, nomad cost, or the wandering cost, having a kind of violence with the other people, because they accept the two systems. The one of them is adopting the system of the nomads, and the other is the modern system, who is already making their ground forever. So this war has already started when the ice has come to an end. Nearly 10,000 years ago, the people were sometimes settling down in some places, and some of them then migrate to other places, and then they not only inhabit there, they have a feud with, they have a problem with other people, and who have already inhabited there. So this is the main basic problem, is that this is the problem of the modern system and the ancient system. Modern system, the people are choosing that this is their house, and they permanently live there. And the Kukis and the Chin, they are adopting the different system, that is the 10,000 old system, that is the nomad system, that is the wanderer system, that they wander and they go to their different places and have a tent there, and then they have a violence with those people of the modern ages, modern systems. This system has also been applicable in the when India got freedom. In the freedom time, there was a very close fight between the Mizos of the old system, who are migrating, or nomad system, and the other one who adopted the new system under the 6th schedule of Indian constitution. Under the next 6th constitution, they wanted to, some of them or most of them, wanted to live like the permanent system or the modern system, and they take that land, that is their permanent home. But the other persons, nearly 253 head or chiefs of the villages, they do not accept it, and ultimately the government has ousted them, and thereafter the whole of the Mizoram is now coming under the new or the modern system, and they are living with the dignity. But in Manipur we find that there is still the old system, and the poppy growing system is also there, and Chin are migrating to these countries, and they are in India, and they are not only affecting the population or demography of the area, but also disturbing the peace of the area. And you can just think, if the people more in numbers migrate to other places, Suppose there are 100 people here, and on the other place 200 people are at different place, and if the people from one place goes to the other place more than 50%, then what will happen? At the place B there will be 150 persons, and at place 1 there will be 50%. The what type of the problem will arise? The problems will arise like the more and more schools will be needed in the next place, and more roads will be needed, and more electricity will be needed, and more infrastructure will be needed, and so different type of administrative problems will arise. Now, if the population from one place continuously divert to another place, then it becomes impossible for the administration to cope with the problem, to solve the problem, because the problem is based on the administration. Administration is based on the number of the population, and the number of the population migrates, and the more and more number of percentage of the population is migrated, then the problem administration also arises, and so that the administration cannot control these type of problems. So for this they give cookies, give an example that in Adam and Hawa had two sons. One was the Cain, and the other was Sephard. And Sephard always wandered, and with their animals, and he destroys the fields, and Cain was always tilling the soil, and he gets the more and more production there, and the wanderer comes and disturbs the whole of the fields. And in this way the second son was killed by the Abel. Abel was killed by the Cain. So this was the tell in the Homer's Odyssey. The character is shown that the whale was simply killed. They were brothers. Abel and Cain were brothers, and sons of the Adam and Hawa, but one was the wanderer and another was the permanent settler, and there was a violence between the two, because one was representing the old system and another was living in the new system, and that is why the Cain murdered Abel. So this theory is more or less practiced in the Manipur, and that is why the problem is not coming to an end. That's all in this topic. Thank you.